Good evening, I'm Bo Williams, and welcome to The 7. Let's get a look at the Big 7 stories right now. And topping the list for us tonight, a scare at several Knox County schools. Now, 3 students face legal trouble tonight. 3 Gibbs Middle School students were just arrested for calling 911 and making a fake threat this morning. As we've been telling you, 2 911 calls came in reporting a possible shooter inside one of the rival Hall schools a little before noon today. The bogus call coming within an hour of the start of classes, this on Knox County's first day back after all the snow and ice. First responders arrived at the scene after 11:30 this morning. In addition to Hall schools being placed on lockdown, Gibbs schools did the same, acting out of caution. After a full search, deputies found nothing and say the call was a hoax.
From our timing, from the minute that we got the call, received the call for that, it took us 46 minutes to when we were notified to know that the buildings were cleared and that the threat had been taken care of at that point. And, you know, again, I want to say as a leader of the school system how reassuring that is to me as a dad, as to our families. I think you should be reassured as well. That's a pretty impressive response. And that's what our families deserve, and that's what we expect.
Knox County Sheriff's Office says that they take calls like the one today very seriously, adding that it's a crime and not a joke. Our next Big 7 at 7 story for you tonight. Big damage to area roadways showing up after the wintry weather. Potholes have been popping up all across East Tennessee. You've probably seen them. Maybe you've hit one. The hard freeze we experienced last week causing cracks in the road now to expand. And while the Tennessee Department of Transportation and the city have been working on repairing many of the potholes you may see around town, many of your cars are now falling victim to these holes in the road. These potholes can cause major damage, from a dent in the wheel, throwing off your alignment, to a popped tire, all of which can be expensive to repair and, well, a jarring experience. A local repairman says he has been repairing many pothole-damaged cars since the ice on the roads has melted, and offers some advice now to those driving in the coming days.
As far as after you've run over a pothole, basically just pull off to the side of the road as quick as you possibly can so you don't damage anything else. And then if you're anticipating that there is potholes out there, drive slow. I mean, you know there's going to be construction, there's going to be potholes out there. Drive slow, look at where you're going, don't get close to people, just be safe.
Now, if you do see a pothole in the road, you can report it to the TDOT Road Repair Hotline. The number on your screen, it is 833-TDOT-FIX. That is 833-836-8349. A review of warming center use is our next big story for you tonight. We're getting a review of everyone who sought shelter in warming centers after our severe winter weather. Overall, for the entire week, an average of 225 people took advantage of the centers here in Knoxville. This according to the Knox County Office of Housing Stability. And North Knoxville apartment fire is our next Big 7 story for you tonight. 2 people now in custody after investigators say they intentionally set a North Knoxville apartment on fire earlier this month. On January 11th, at the Holston Ridge Apartments on Mystic River Way, the Knoxville Fire Department says the sprinkler system was quickly activated and stopped the spread of fire. However, you can see the apartment did suffer fire, smoke, and water damage. Our next Big 7 story, part of a building giving way. That partial building collapse happening on Railroad Avenue in Athens. First responders finding the front of the building collapsed with bricks and debris cluttering the roadway. No one was inside at the time and all utilities were controlled. No injuries were reported and only minor damage was reported to a nearby building. Moving through our list here at 7, a big plea in a murder case as a man admits to killing his own father. It comes almost 2 years after the victim's body turned up. The case against 47-year-old John Scott Ball spans county lines. You may recall a hiker found the remains of John Henry Ball in a wooded area off Old Furnace Road in Tellico Plains. That's in Monroe County. The 10th Judicial District Attorney General says that John Scott Ball shot his father before cutting up his corpse and then taking his remains to the mountains. With the first-degree murder plea, the DA says Ball will now serve a life sentence. And wrapping up our Big 7 list for you, rain plus melting snow equals a lot of water out there tonight. This was the view, as a matter of fact, along Broadway. This was just outside our studios earlier in the afternoon. Today, we've seen gray skies, drizzle at times, but at other times, we've seen just total downpours. And while all that's not unusual for January in East Tennessee, temperatures have been relatively warm, climbing into the mid-50s. That's even more remarkable considering the area was seeing single digits just a few days ago. And with all this rain falling and all that snow melting, right now TVA is doing what it was created to do at its River Forecast Center. Today, we had the chance to go inside at the spot where workers monitor the water that's on the ground, in the streams, that's coming down, and what's still to come. TVA expects 2 to 3 inches of rain around its service area, added to the melting snow, which equals about a week's worth of average winter weather.
We'll be storing runoff from the mountains and the snow melt in the tributaries, and so we'll be holding that water back out of the main river. And that's to provide flood protection to the locations along the main river. We're basically putting together a puzzle every day and deciding how to manage the reservoirs and how much to release from each one to maximize the benefits.
River managers have been preparing all week, lowering water levels to handle the rain and the runoff, but they say you'll likely see lake levels go back up in the days ahead. Well, let's find out just how much rain we're talking tonight. Meteorologist Ken Weathers joins us now from the 6 Storm Center. So Ken, get us up to date.
Good news is, Bo, the steadier waves of rain that we've had throughout the day are starting to push further to the east, and we're awaiting the cold front, which is making its way through Middle Tennessee now, to head our way a little bit later tonight. So a little bit closer look. Really, the only steady rainfall we have in our area is over towards Cott County along Interstate 40 and up into Hartland County in Kentucky. A little bit closer look here in and around Gatlinburg, maybe a sprinkle or two, but again, from Newport all the way over to Cataloochee into western North Carolina is where we have some of the steadier rain. Rain has let up for now, just a few sprinkles you can see on the pavement here at Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies there in Gatlinburg. So our rain opportunities will really start to go down across the region over the next couple of hours once that cold front sweeps through, especially after about midnight tonight. And then much of the day, we'll say tomorrow, on the drier side. I think there are a few random showers to start the day, especially Knoxville eastward. But then really just a mostly cloudy day, a few breaks in the clouds here or there, and a mild one with temperatures in the low 60s. So it'll be nice to have that little bit of a respite of the drier weather tomorrow because it ramps up very quickly as we go through the day Saturday. Another round of rain, some rumbles of thunder as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if we had some 1 to maybe 2 inch totals just from the system on Saturday. And just a reminder that it's still winter time. Could end as a light wintry mix for some as we go into Sunday. I'll talk more about that coming up in a minute, Bo.